We're in part 4 of our synthesis video, and we're working on our program that's going to keep track of our TV show names and the associated characters of those. And in our last video, we went ahead and prompted the user for a character, and then once we got a valid character name, we went ahead and put it inside of our string list to keep track for that particular show. Now, what we have to do is we need to add in the next prompt to keep this loop going, or not. So what that means is we're going to be prompting the user if they would like to add another character. So let's go ahead and do another console write line, put a little set of double quotes, \r\n, and would you like to add another character? And we're going to tell them the answers are yes or no. Okay. And making sure that we are inside of our while loop. Let me put that back in place. Our while loop that actually is continuing with the add character. So remember, this is the start of that loop, that is the end of that loop, and we're making sure we're inside of that loop when we're prompting, do you want to add another character? Okay. So we asked a question, what's the next step? Well, that's going to be to catch the response. And we need to know what variable we need, right? Response, let me put that right there. So that's going to be another character, right? Because that's the actual text string that's keeping our loop going. As long as this is yes, then we can still add characters. Once this says no, then we won't be able to add any more characters because the while loop will stop. So let's go ahead and catch that response. So another character equals a console.readLine, open closing, and a semicolon. Now, once we prompt the user and catch the response, what's next? It's validation, your friend, right? So let's go ahead and we need the same kind of validation we did down below in our code, right? So we're going to use that not equal to and not equal to again, because it's a specific yes or no validation. So we still need a loop, open closing parentheses and an open closing curly braces, and split those apart. Inside of here, the test is going to be, is another character not equal to a text string of lowercase no? And speaking of lowercase, we need to add that onto another character, right? Because we need a period after it and dot to lower open closing parentheses to use that method to change whatever the user types in to a lowercase. So we only have to check the lowercase no instead of a capital no or a capital N and a lowercase no or anything like that. Okay. After we get that done, we need our second one. So that's going to be an and, so that and operator, and another character not equal to a text string of lowercase yes. All right. So that is going to be our test for that validation. 3 steps. First step, tell the error. It's going to be a console write line, set of double quotes, \r\n, and please only type in yes or no. Next up, ask the question. Whoops, I forgot that O. Boop, there we go. Console write line again, to set a double quotes for those strings, and would you like to add another character? Yes or no? Finally, last step is to catch the response. Using that same variable that we've been dealing with, another character, and that's that one that's going to keep this while loop going or not. So another character equals our console.readLine, open closing, and at semicolon. All right. So now, if the user types in yes, we're going to come down to the closing curly brace. It's going to say, is yes equal to yes? And it's going to say, sure. So we're going to type in another character. And as long as they type yes, we're going to go through this whole thing and keep getting a new character and then adding it to our character list. Okay? Once they type in no, then what happens is this no is not the same as yes, so this would stop, and then it would go through and say, hey, let's create another TV show. All right. Now, we are missing a few things inside of here, but let's just see if this works really fast. We're not done yet, so it's going to act a little wonky and weird, but that's okay. All right, so new TV show. Let's go with Golden Girls. Okay, name a character from it. How about Sophia? Do you want to add another character? Yes. Let's go with Dorothy. And yes. And Blanche. Blanche? I don't know how to spell Blanche's name. I'm going to go with that. Do you want to add another character? No. All right, do you want to add another TV show? Sure. Let's go back to Star Trek. And we're just going to go with Picard. Oops. Actually, you know what? I have to type in yes first. I'm trying to get ahead of it because it's like, do you want to add another TV show? And I was like, Star Trek. Well, I have to type in yes first. There we go. Now I type in the TV show, Star Trek. Enter one of the characters from Star Trek. Let's go with Picard. And then I'm going to say, no, I don't want to add another character, and no, I don't want to add another TV show. And that's going to end it. So the thing that we proved here is that our loops are working correctly because they are going and they keep repeating until the user hits no, that I don't want to add another character, and no, I don't want to add another TV show. As long as the user types in yes, that continues to loop, which is great. Okay? Now, here's what we're missing. We're missing the adding the characters and the TV show name to our dictionary list so we can utilize them later, right? So far all we're doing is we're getting character names and we're shoving all the character names inside of one list, and it's the same list. So all of our Golden Girls would be in the same list as our Star Trek people, which is not going to be correct. What we need to do is we need to start saying this TV show goes with this list and then resetting our list. So let's go about doing that. Now, after we end another character, right? So we've already got, let me go back up to the top of this whole thing. So this is where we started adding TV shows. So we have a valid TV show name, which is going to be our key of our dictionary. If we remember up here, a key is the name of it, and our character list is our value. So the first part of our while loop gets us our key. Scrolling on down. After this while loop, we're going to have a completely full character list, so a list of strings. Now, before we go ahead and do another TV show, this is the important part of this. Now, we have a TV show name and a full character list. What do we do with them? We add them to the dictionary. Then when we reset this loop, then we can actually get new values and add those to the dictionary, and get new values and add those to the dictionary, and then this program will hold any number of TV shows and any number of characters for those TV shows. So what does that look like? Well, we got to go back and put our dictionary name. Let's scroll all the way back up to the top. Here's our dictionary name, right? So going all the way back down to where we just were, right here. Dictionary name is TV show characters, a period for the dot syntax, the add method, open closing parentheses and a semicolon, and inside of here we need the key first. So remember, the key is the TV show name, then a comma, and the string list, and that name of that string list is all characters. All right, so now this adds that to the thing. So we have Golden Girls, and then we cycle through and get 4 Golden Girls names. Come down here, and we put that box on the shelf. Mark it Golden Girls. Inside of it is 4 names. Then we would loop again, and we would say Star Trek, and then we get some people from Star Trek. And then when we come to this ad, we label the box Star Trek, and inside of it we have our characters from Star Trek, and so on and so on. Okay? Now, the thing that we're missing is going to be resetting the character list. Because if you think about it, we have all characters, and we keep adding to the same list. Now, when did we start that list? Well, that's going to be all the way at the top, right? We started it, and we set it equal to a new blank list. So here is the kind of sneaky part of what we're going to do. Before we start filling in the list, we have to blank it out. Okay, what does that mean? So we're going to be inside of our while loop for making another TV show. Here is the code for getting the TV show name. And here is where we start asking about the characters themselves. So before this, before our loop, what we're going to do here is we are going to clear the list of characters from the last time. Now, how we're going to do that is we're going to set the variable, or the list variable, equal to a new list. All right, so what does that look like? Well, we have to think of the name of our list, so that's going to be all characters, and we're going to set that equal to, and we're going to set it equal to a new, and a new what? A new list of strings, open, closing parentheses, and a semicolon. Okay, so remember, I'm not declaring it because I'm not putting list string in the front. All I'm doing is redefining it as a new list. So that's kind of one of the key things that's going to be a little new for this, right? So think about it. We get our TV show name. We come down here and we say, hey, give me a blank list of strings. And in this loop where we're asking for characters, we're filling up this new one, which is now blank. So we're putting a first character in it, and a second character in it, and a third character in it. We come to our add down here. We're saying put that as it is in a box on the shelf or as an element in the dictionary. Okay. We come down here, and if we want to redo another one, this sends us all the way back up to the top of our while loop, which is going to be right here. We get a new name. How is it a new name? Well, TV show name equals console.readline. That's going to be a new value, so a new TV show. We come down here. It says, great, I already have this all-character list full of Golden Girls, but I'm going to set it equal to a new blank list. So it's going to wipe it clean, and it's going to be a whole nother list that we can put stuff inside of. And this time it's going to be all the Star Trek people, and so on and so on. Okay? All right. So now we have our dictionary being full of our characters and our TV show names, right? Now here is going to be the end of the loop to add another show. Here's the end of the main, end of our class, and end of our namespace. I'm going to stay within our main, but after my while loop, put some spaces in here. And finally, now that we have all those full dictionaries, let's output all of the dictionary elements. So basically, you can kind of think of this as the final results, right? And we're going to do that in our next video.